Right now, as you listen to this, half of the world is asleep. Whole cities are dreaming. Whole forests have folded their leaves. And the night itself is moving gently around the planet like a soft, dark tide, gathering sleepers as it goes. Tonight, it is coming, softly for you. Hello there, and welcome aboard the Sleepy Porter. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. However long your day has been, whatever your mind is still carrying, you can set it all down now. You have nowhere to be, and nothing to do but rest. Tonight's journey is the gentlest one of all, for tonight we are traveling into sleep itself. As we drift, I'll share with you some of the softest and loveliest secrets of the sleeping world. How the swifts sleep on the wing, and the whales sleep standing up. How the flowers close at dusk, and the trees let down their branches. And what your own quiet body is lovingly doing for you in the dark. Small wonders about the very thing you are about to do, each one drowsier than the last, until the subject of our journey gently arrives and carries you away. You don't need to remember any of it. Let every little wonder drift through you and dissolve. And I'd love to know, where in the world are you listening from tonight? And is the night young there, or deep? Whatever the hour, you are welcome here. So settle in. Let your shoulders soften. Let your breathing slow. Let your body grow heavy and warm. And let's drift gently out into the sleeping world. We begin with the largest and gentlest fact of all. Everything sleeps. Every creature that has ever been carefully watched, from the great whales to the smallest flies, takes its rest in some form. Sleep is older than wings, older than eyes, older than almost everything alive. Whatever else divides the living world, this one soft habit unites it completely. To sleep is to do the most ancient and universal thing there is. You are resting in the warm dark, and all around the turning world, in burrows and branches and deep blue water, countless creatures are settling into the very same softness you are settling into now. To rest here among everything that rests is to join the oldest club in the world, whose only rule is close your eyes. Now, the dolphins. A dolphin cannot stop swimming and cannot stop rising to breathe, and so it has learned the loveliest trick in the sea. It sleeps with half of itself at a time. One half of its mind rests deeply, while the other half keeps gentle watch, one eye closed, one eye softly open. And after a while, the halves trade places, so that the dolphin glides slowly on through the night, half dreaming, half watching, entirely at peace. You are drifting beside one now, in your mind's eye, the great gentle shape gliding slow through the moonlit water, one eye closed in perfect trust, resting in motion, asleep and awake at once. To rest here beside the half-dreaming dolphin is to learn how flexible and forgiving sleep can be, and how it finds a way for everyone. Now the great whales, who sleep in the most astonishing way of all. Deep in the warm seas, the mighty sperm whales rest floating upright, nose to the sky, hanging in the dark blue like a grove of enormous gentle trees, drifting in slow, silent groups just beneath the surface. The largest hunters on earth spend part of each day standing perfectly still in the sea, sleeping together. You are drifting quietly among them now, the vast, peaceful forms suspended all around you in the deep blue, a sleeping forest of giants, swaying almost imperceptibly with the swell. To rest here in the standing forest of sleeping whales is to float through one of the most peaceful sights in all the ocean, and to grow more peaceful for having seen it. Now, the swifts, the little birds of the high summer sky. A swift may stay in the air for months on end without once touching down, and so it sleeps up there, rising each evening high into the calm air, setting its wings and drifting in long, slow circles while it dozes. A small, sleeping heart gliding 2 miles above the sleeping world. You are drifting up there with them now, the warm, dark air holding you gently, the lights of the towns far below, sleep and flight folded softly into one. To rest here among the sleeping swifts is to know that sleep can hold you up, even in midair, even with nothing beneath you but the gentle night. Now, the ducks. When ducks sleep in a row along a quiet bank, the ducks in the middle close both eyes and sleep deeply, while the two on the ends keep their outside eye softly open, watching over the row. The flock shares its rest like a family sharing blankets, and everyone takes a turn in the safe, warm middle. You are resting in that warm middle now, in your mind's eye, companions settled on either side, every watch kept, every duty covered, nothing at all required of you but sleep. To rest here in the middle of the row is to feel one of the oldest comforts there is, the comfort of being watched over. Now, the flamingos, who sleep standing on one leg in the warm shallows, folded up like elegant pink umbrellas. Standing that way actually costs them less effort than standing on two, so the graceful pose that looks so precarious is, in truth, the flamingo at its most relaxed, balanced perfectly, swaying slightly, sound asleep in the middle of a lagoon. You are resting beside the still lagoon at dusk as the flock settles into sleep. 100 soft pink forms balanced on their slender stems, steady as reeds, calm as the water. To rest here among the one-legged sleepers is to be reminded that rest can be found in the most unlikely postures, whenever the body decides it is time. Now the horses, who can sleep standing up. Their legs carry a gentle locking mechanism, so they may doze on their feet in the field, resting without falling. But for their true deep sleep, for their dreams, they must lie down in the grass. And so in every sleeping herd, some stand drowsing on guard, while others stretch out flat and dream. And then, in quiet shifts, they trade. You are resting at the edge of a moonlit meadow where the herd is sleeping, some standing hip-shot and dozing, some lying long in the silver grass, deep in their horse dreams, everyone resting in the way they need. To rest here beside the sleeping herd is to feel the sweet order of shared rest, where someone always stands the watch so someone else can dream. Now, the cats, the world's most devoted sleepers. A cat sleeps for roughly 2/3 of its entire life, folding itself into sunbeams and armchairs and impossible corners, and it makes no apology whatsoever. Cats treat sleep not as lost time, but as the main event, attended faithfully, in the warmest spot available, every single day. You are resting in a warm, quiet room, where a cat lies curled in the last of the sun. A soft circle of complete conviction, doing the thing it does best and believes in most. To rest here beside the master sleeper is to take instruction from a true professional, whose whole philosophy is, if you are tired, sleep, and if you are not tired, sleep anyway. Now, the dormouse, whose very name means the sleepy one. This tiny golden creature spends more than half of every year asleep, curled in a perfect furry circle in its nest of grass and moss, its tail wrapped over its nose, waiting out the whole long winter in one continuous nap. It goes to bed in autumn and wakes, unhurried, in the late spring. You are peering, in your mind's eye, into that tiny, warm nest, where the little golden ball rises and falls almost invisibly with its slow winter breathing, months deep in sleep, perfectly content. To rest here beside the sleepiest creature in the woods is to feel your own eyelids grow heavier out of pure sympathy. Now, the bears, whose winter rest is one of the gentlest marvels in nature. Settled deep in the den, a bear's heartbeat slows from its busy summer drumming to a soft, patient handful of beats each minute, and its breathing stretches long and quiet. And in that deep, slow state, it drowses through the snow months, warm in the dark, living gently off the summer it has saved. You are resting at the mouth of that warm den, in your mind's eye, the snow falling silently outside, and from the soft dark within comes the slowest, most peaceful breathing in the forest. To rest here, beside the wintering bear, is to feel what deep rest really means, the whole body agreeing, at last, to slow all the way down. Now, the snail, the quiet champion of long sleeps. When the weather turns dry, a snail may seal the door of its shell with a fine silver film and simply doze, waiting for the rain. And it can wait a very long time. Snails have woken, perfectly well, from sleeps that lasted 3 years. Somewhere right now, a snail is 2 years into a nap, and in no hurry whatsoever. You are resting in a quiet, dry garden where, under a cool stone, a small spiraled sleeper is waiting out the season, sealed snug in its own little bedroom, dreaming its slow silver dreams. To rest here beside the 3-year sleeper is to feel all deadlines everywhere grow wonderfully, absurdly unimportant. Now, the frogs of the far north, who sleep through winter in the most impossible way of all. As the cold deepens, the little wood frog lets itself freeze, solid as glass, its heart resting completely. And it sleeps like that, a small frog-shaped piece of winter, until spring comes and thaws it gently, and its heart stirs, and it hops away as though nothing had happened. Even ice, it turns out, can be a bed. You are resting in the winter woods, where, beneath the leaf litter and the snow, thousands of these small cold sleepers wait in perfect stillness for the warm rains of spring, every one of them certain of waking. To rest here above the frozen sleepers is to trust the deepest promise of sleep, that however deep the rest, waking follows, warm and green. Now we come to the plants, for they sleep too. Many trees gently lower their branches at night, by a hand's width or more, easing them down after sunset, and lifting them again before dawn, a slow, soft slump that careful instruments have measured in the darkness. The forest, quite literally, relaxes its shoulders at night. You are resting beneath one of those easing trees in the warm dark, and all around you, too slowly to see, the whole wood is settling, branch by branch, into its own kind of sleep. To rest here beneath the relaxing forest is to let your own shoulders do exactly what the branches are doing, lower and soften and rest. Now the flowers. Tulips and crocuses and water lilies fold their petals closed each evening, tucking themselves in against the cold and the dark, and the daisy does it so faithfully that its very name comes from the old words for day's eye, the small bright eye that closes at dusk and opens with the sun. Every night, across every meadow on earth, 1,000,000 small eyes gently close. You are resting at the edge of an evening meadow, as the flowers fold themselves away all around you, petal by petal, the whole field quietly putting itself to bed. To rest here, among the closing flowers, is to receive the softest hint in all of nature, that the proper response to dusk is to gently close. Now, the young sunflowers, who follow the sun across the sky all day, turning their bright faces slowly from east to west, and then, in the night, while no one watches, they quietly turn themselves back, so that when dawn arrives, every young flower in the field is already facing east, ready, rested, welcoming the light. Even their sleep contains a small act of hope. You are resting in that dark field now, and all around you, with immense slowness, 1,000 sleeping faces are turning gently toward tomorrow morning. To rest here among the hopeful flowers is to fall asleep the way they do, quietly confident that the sun is on its way. Now, the seeds, which may be the deepest sleepers in all the world. A seed is a sleeping plant, wrapped and waiting, and its patience is almost beyond belief. Lotus seeds have woken and bloomed after sleeping for 1,000 years. Whole gardens are dozing right now in the soil beneath our feet, in no distress, in no hurry, simply waiting, as long as it takes, for their morning. You are resting on the warm, quiet earth, and beneath you, everywhere, the future is asleep, folded into countless small brown parcels, every one of them a flower that has simply not yet had its dawn. To rest here above the sleeping gardens is to feel the enormous patience of life, and to borrow a little of it for yourself. Now we come home to the human wonders, beginning with the simple size of the thing. You will spend roughly 1/3 of your whole life asleep, decades of rest, decades of dreams. It is not time subtracted from your life. It is one of the 3 great countries of your life, as large as work, as large as love, a vast, soft homeland you visit every single night. You are at its border now, warm beneath the covers, and the crossing is as gentle as crossings ever get, requiring no ticket and no effort, and nothing at all but letting go. To rest here at the edge of your own soft country is to remember that sleep is not an interruption of your life, but a full 1/3 of its territory, and some of its loveliest countryside. Now, a quiet marvel about your nights. You dream every night, whether you remember or not, several separate dreams, dozens of little private films, and almost all of them dissolve gently before morning. Every sleeper on earth is secretly one of the most prolific storytellers who has ever lived, and the stories are told for an audience of one, and then let go, like breath on glass. You are drifting toward tonight's first showing now, the theatre warm and dark, the seats soft, the program a complete and wonderful mystery, even to you. To rest here at the door of your own dream theatre is to look forward to stories no one else will ever see, made tonight, just for you. Now, the gentle housekeeping of the sleeping mind. While you rest, your brain quietly rinses itself. The spaces between its cells open a little wider in deep sleep, and a slow, clear tide washes through, carrying away the small residues of the busy day, like a town washing its streets in the small hours. You go to bed with the day's dust, and wake swept clean. You are resting in that gentle tide now, the soft cleaning currents beginning their patient rounds, tidying, rinsing, freshening, asking nothing of you but stillness. To rest here while the night does its housekeeping is to be cared for in the most literal way there is, washed and swept and made ready, all before morning. Now, the filing of the days. As you sleep, your mind sorts through everything that happened, replaying the day in miniature, deciding gently what to keep. The precious things are carried into long-term keeping. The clutter is let fade, and the skills you practiced are quietly rehearsed and strengthened in the dark. You really do get better at things overnight, without lifting a finger. You are resting while the sorting begins, the day's moments drifting past like papers gently filed, the keepers kept, the rest released, everything put softly in its place. To rest here while your memories are tended is to know that falling asleep is not stopping your work. It is handing it, trustingly, to the night shift. Now, a small physical wonder. You are taller in the morning. Through the day, the soft cushions of your spine settle gently under the weight of standing. And through the night, lying down, they drink and swell and stretch again, so that every sleeper rises very slightly taller than they lay down. Sleep does not just rest you. It quietly, measurably, restores you. You are lying down now, and it has already begun. The gentle, unhurried decompression, your whole frame easing back toward its full, soft height. To rest here while your body regrows its inches is to feel sleep working like slow water on a garden, plumping, easing, restoring everything it touches. Now, the mending. Wounds close faster in those who sleep well. Sore muscles knit themselves overnight, and the body's whole gentle repair crew does its finest work in the deep hours. Growth itself happens mostly in sleep, which is why children who are busy being built need so much of it. The night is when the body takes out its needle and thread. You are resting on the workbench now, in the kindest workshop there is, and every small weariness of the day has been noted, and will be seen to, in order, while you dream. To rest here, in the body's night workshop, is to fall asleep the way a violin rests in the luthier's care, certain of waking in better repair. Now, the yawn. It is one of the friendliest mysteries we have. Yawning cools and refreshes the waking mind, and it is famously, wonderfully contagious, leaping gently from person to person, and even from the mere mention of yawning to the reader, or to the listener, so that somewhere in these very sentences there is a fair chance a soft yawn is already on its way to you. You are resting in the warm dark, and if it comes, let it come, wide and slow and satisfying, the body's own kind signal that the gates of sleep are opening. To rest here and let the yawns arrive is to watch your own body agreeing, in the oldest sign language there is, that it is ready. Now, a wonder about warmth. The body falls asleep by gently cooling, and the quickest way to help it is, strangely, to warm the edges. A warm bath before bed, or warm socks on cold feet, opens the small vessels of the hands and feet, and lets the day's heat drift softly out. And as the core cools by the gentlest fraction, sleep arrives. Grandmothers prescribed the warm bath and the bed socks long before science agreed, as grandmothers usually do. You are resting warm beneath the covers, your feet cozy, your hands loose, the gentle cooling already underway at the center of you, right on schedule. To rest here, warm at the edges and cooling at the core, is to feel the body's own dimmer switch turning slowly, comfortably down. Now, the two sleeps. For most of history, before electric light, people commonly slept in two gentle shifts. They took their first sleep in the early dark, woke naturally near midnight for a quiet hour, a peaceful, dreamy interlude of prayer, or talk, or simply lying warm in the dark, and then drifted easily into their second sleep until dawn. Waking in the night, in other words, is not a failure. For centuries it was simply the intermission. You are resting in that old unhurried pattern now, where any waking is only a soft pause between acts. Nothing to fix, nothing to fear, only the second sleep, waiting patiently a little further on. To rest here, inside the old two sleeps, is to make peace with the night's pauses, and to let every waking be merely the gentle turning of a page. Now, counting sheep. The old cure is old indeed, for shepherds through the ages really did count their flocks through the gate at dusk. 1 and 2 and 3, and the counting was so steady, so soft, and so famously monotonous that it wandered out of the sheepfold and into the world's bedrooms. The trick is not the sheep. The trick is giving the busy mind one gentle, endless, unimportant job. You are lying warm as the flock files slowly through the gate, 4 and 5 and 6, wool brushing the gatepost, hooves soft on the turf, 7 and 8, each sheep a little slower than the last. To rest here, counting the patient flock, is to set the mind a task so soft it cannot help but fall asleep on the job. Now, sleeping on it. In nearly every language on earth, there is a version of the same advice. Take your question to bed. And the advice is sound, for the sleeping mind keeps working, gently, sideways, trying combinations the waking mind never would. Melodies have arrived whole in dreams. Puzzles have solved themselves by morning, and many of the world's good ideas were simply found on the pillow, like coins left by the night. You are resting with the day's questions set loosely beside you, not gripped, not worried at, simply left out where the night can look them over at its leisure. To rest here and let the night think for you is to employ the oldest consultant in the world, who works only while you sleep, and never sends a bill. Now, the babies. A newborn spends most of every day asleep, and a great share of that sleep is dreaming sleep, far more than any grown person gets. And somewhere in those early weeks, before they ever smile at anyone in the waking world, babies smile in their sleep. Small private smiles at dreams no one will ever know. The very first smiles on earth happen in sleep. You are resting near that small sleeper, in your mind's eye, watching the tiny face flicker with its secret entertainments. And there it is, brief and complete, the first soft smile given to a dream. To rest here beside the smiling sleeper is to be reminded that dreaming came before almost everything else we do, even joy shown on a face. Now, the dreaming animals. Watch a sleeping dog, and sooner or later, the paws will begin to paddle, chasing something gentle across some wide dream field. Cats twitch their whiskers at dream birds, and the octopus, most wonderfully of all, changes colors in its sleep. Soft waves of pattern washing over it in the dark, as though its dreams were being gently broadcast on its skin. You are resting in a quiet room, where a dog sighs and paddles softly in its sleep, deep in the good chase, tail stirring at the happy ending. To rest here among the dreaming animals is to know that the theatre of sleep has been running, in every den and basket in the world, since long before we bought our tickets. Now the parrotfish, who makes its own nightgown. Each evening on the warm reef, the little parrotfish spins itself a soft, transparent cocoon of silk, a gentle bubble of a sleeping bag, and settles inside it for the night, tucked in against the currents and hidden from the dark. Every morning it slips out and swims away, and every evening, without fail, it makes its bed again. You are drifting above the sleeping reef, and below you, in 100 small crevices, 100 little sleepers rest in their handmade bubbles, each one snug in a bed of its own making. To rest here above the fish in their nightgowns is to feel the universal sweetness of tucking in, practiced even at the bottom of the sea. Now, the bumblebees. On summer evenings, bumblebees are sometimes found fast asleep inside flowers, curled in the soft cups of poppies and squash blossoms, their faces dusted gold with pollen, having simply grown drowsy at work in the loveliest office in the world and decided not to fly home. The flower closes gently around them, and they doze there until the sun reopens it. You are resting in a warm evening garden where, here and there, among the folded petals, small furry sleepers are snoring their tiny snores in beds of silk and perfume. To rest here in the garden of sleeping bees is to know that sometimes the kindest thing to do at the end of the day is simply stop where the softness is. Now, the hummingbird, whose sleep is one of the tenderest marvels alive. By day, its heart beats faster than sound can follow, a blur of wings and hurry. But each night, it settles on a twig, fluffs itself round, and lets everything slow, its racing heart easing down and down to a soft occasional whisper, its fierce warmth banked low like embers. The busiest creature in the garden becomes, by night, one of the stillest. You are resting in the dark garden beside that tiny sleeper, the little body no bigger than your thumb, doing its nightly miracle of slowing all the way down. To rest here beside the hushed hummingbird is to know that no heart is too busy to rest, not even the fastest one there is. Now, the giraffes, the lightest sleepers of the plains. A giraffe sleeps in small, gentle installments, brief dozes taken standing among the acacias. And now and then, for its deepest minutes, it folds its long legs beneath it and curves its great neck around to rest its head upon its own back, becoming its own pillow, a tall question mark of an animal answering itself with sleep. You are resting on the warm, dusk savanna as the tall shapes fold themselves down one by one, each great neck curving home to its own shoulder. To rest here among the self-pillowed giraffes is to be reminded that everything needed for rest we mostly carry with us. Now, the koalas, who have arranged their whole lives around the nap. A koala sleeps most of every day, wedged comfortably in the fork of a eucalyptus tree, and its unhurried diet asks for all that rest. So the sleep is not laziness, but the actual work. High in the swaying blue-green branches, the koala dozes through the warm hours, doing, diligently and correctly, exactly what its life requires. You are resting beneath that tree in the warm shade, and far above, a round grey sleeper is deep in its lawful rest, swaying gently with the branch. To rest here beneath the professional sleeper is to consider the pleasant possibility that rest is not what we do instead of our work, but sometimes is the work. Now, the elephants, the great light sleepers, and their gentle arrangement. Elephants sleep only a little, much of it standing, and in the wild the herd rests in turns, for the old matriarch and the watchful aunts stand quietly over the sleeping calves, who are permitted to lie flat in the dust and sleep as deeply as they please. The greatest of land animals, organizes its nights around one principle. The little ones sleep soundest. You are resting near that sleeping herd under the stars. The small ones stretched out, utterly abandoned to their dreams. The great grey guardians standing calm above them, ears moving slowly, keeping the peace. To rest here, inside the elephant's arrangement, is to feel the oldest bedtime promise there is. Sleep deeply. Someone is standing watch. Now the penguins of the deep south, who sleep in a slowly turning embrace. In the Antarctic winter, the emperor penguins gather in vast huddles, thousands strong, packed warm against the wind, and the huddle slowly rotates, the birds on the cold outer edge shuffling gradually inward to the warm center, and the warm ones drifting outward to take their turn, so that everyone, in the end, is warmed by everyone. You are resting in the warm heart of that huddle, in your mind's eye, the wind singing harmlessly far away at the edges, the shared warmth rising all around you like a tide. To rest here in the turning warmth of the huddle is to feel the arithmetic of kindness, by which 1,000 small warmths make one great one, with your place in it kept. Now the chimpanzees, our nearest cousins, who make a fresh bed every single night. Each evening, high in the trees, a chimpanzee bends and weaves the leafy branches into a new springy nest, tests it, adjusts it, adds a soft pillow of leaves, and settles in with every sign of satisfaction. They have done this every night for millions of years. Making the bed, it turns out, is far older than we are. You are resting in a freshly made bed of your own, and the small comfort you feel in it is an ancient inheritance, handed down from the first careful nest in the first dark tree. To rest here in a well-made bed is to practice one of the oldest domestic arts on earth, and to feel exactly why it never went out of style. Now, the hedgehog, who makes of itself a parcel of sleep. As autumn chills, the hedgehog gathers leaves and moss into a snug ball of a nest, and then becomes a ball itself inside it, rolled nose to tail, spines out, softness in, and sleeps that way through the whole winter, a small brown planet of rest hidden at the bottom of the hedge. You are peering, in your mind's eye, into that leafy hollow where the round sleeper barely breathes, wrapped in itself and in its nest and in the season, triple safe. To rest here beside the wintering hedgehog is to feel the deep comfort of curling up, which needs no instruction, and never did. Now, the sleep talkers. Most people, at some point, murmur in their sleep, soft, harmless syllables from the middle of dreams, rarely more than a gentle word or two, almost never remembered. The sleeping world is full of these small broadcasts, a murmured word in one house, a soft chuckle in another, the whole sleeping neighborhood mumbling amiably to itself in the dark. You are resting in that gently talkative night now, where here and there across the town, sleepers offer their small, mysterious announcements to no one, and settle back into silence. To rest here in the murmuring night is to feel how companionable sleep really is, everyone dreaming in their own rooms, and now and then saying so. Now, the keepers of dreams in the world's old stories. In Japan, there is the Baku, a gentle chimera who can be called upon to eat bad dreams. In the north, there is the Sandman, who sprinkles sleep into children's eyes, and Ole Lukoje, with his 2 umbrellas, opening the picture, painted one over the good. And on many cradles hangs the dream catcher, its soft web set to let the good dreams through, and hold the rest till dawn burns them away. Everywhere on earth, people built small kind guardians for the gates of sleep. You are resting beneath all of that ancient goodwill now, the eaters of nightmares, and the sprinklers of sleep, and the woven webs, a whole folklore of protection, gathered gently around the world's beds. To rest here in the company of the dream keepers is to feel how carefully, in every age, people have tucked one another in. Now, the arms of Morpheus. The old Greeks gave dreams their own god, Morpheus, the gentle shaper, who could take any form and walk through any sleeper's night. And to this day, falling asleep is still called drifting into his arms. It is a lovely thing that of all the mighty figures of those old stories, one of the most tenderly remembered is the one whose only realm was dreams. You are drifting toward those patient arms now, as sleepers have in the same words for thousands of years, carried down the same soft road. To rest here on the road to Morpheus is to join an unbroken procession of the drowsy, reaching back to the very first stories, and forward through tonight. Now, the astronauts. Even in space, sleep comes along. Astronauts zip themselves into soft sleeping bags, tethered gently to the wall, and they float as they sleep, arms drifting weightless before them, while their ship circles the whole world every hour and a half. A sleeping astronaut passes through 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets in a single night's rest, dreaming straight through most of them. You are floating in that soft, tethered cocoon now, in your mind's eye, the great blue earth turning slowly beneath you, dawn after dawn, washing silently over your closed eyes. To rest here among the 16 sunrises is to know that sleep is so essential and so faithful that we packed it carefully and brought it with us to the stars. Now, the nappers, the people who fly those ships, are formally instructed to nap, for the world's space agencies studied the short sleep and found it genuinely restorative. A brief descent that returns a person brighter and steadier. The nap, long the specialty of cats and grandfathers, turns out to be precision equipment, standard issue on the most advanced missions ever flown. You are resting in that honorable tradition now, where every doze is quietly professional, every siesta fully certified. To rest here in the age of the official nap is to know that closing your eyes is not stolen time, but maintenance of the finest instrument you own. Now, the sounds. Sleepers the world over rest more deeply to the sound of steady rain, of surf, of wind in leaves. And there is a tender reason. Soft, continuous, unsurprising sound smooths the night over, hiding the small, startling noises inside its gentle wash. And the very first soundscape any of us ever knew, before we were born, was exactly that. A warm, constant, oceanic whooshing. The rain on the roof is not just soothing. It is familiar, from the oldest room we ever slept in. You are resting inside that soft wash of sound now, or inside its memory, the night made seamless and round, nothing sudden anywhere in it. To rest here, inside the oldest sound of safety, is to be sung to in the first lullaby there ever was, the one before words. Now, the polar sleepers. In the far north, in the heart of winter, the sun does not rise for weeks, and in summer it does not set, and yet people there have slept in the endless light and the endless dark for thousands of years, hanging their thick curtains against the midnight sun, lighting their warm lamps against the long noon dark. Sleep, it turns out, does not really need the sun. It needs only the ritual, the dimming, the warmth, the permission. You are resting in a snug, lamplit room in that strange, beautiful latitude, the world outside stuck at one golden hour or one deep blue one, and sleep arriving anyway, right on time, because you invited it. To rest here where the sun keeps odd hours is to learn that night is not something the sky does. It is something we make, softly, wherever we are. Now, one gentle wonder about the word itself. Sleep tight, we say, and the old explanation reaches back to the days when beds were webs of rope that wanted regular tightening for a firm night's rest. Whatever its true beginning, the little blessing has been passed from voice to voice for centuries, one sleeper wishing another a well-strung night. And it lands tonight, in its old friendly way, on you. You are resting in a bed that needs no tightening, but the blessing works regardless, as blessings do, being made mostly of fondness anyway. To rest here inside the old good-night words is to be tucked in by centuries of well-wishers, all of them, in the end, saying the same soft thing. Now, the fish, who sleep with their eyes open, for the simple, gentle reason that fish have no eyelids, and have never needed them, the sea itself being their eyelid, dim and cool and always drawn. A sleeping fish simply grows still and settles low, hovering in its favorite hollow. Eyes open on the quiet water, resting completely in plain sight. You are drifting through the dim evening reef, where the day fish have all gone still, hanging in their niches, like small lanterns turned low, wide-eyed and fast asleep. To rest here among the open-eyed sleepers is to learn that sleep is not about the eyes at all, but about the letting go behind them. Now, the frigate birds, the great ocean gliders who cross whole seas without landing, and manage it on the smallest sleep in the world. Riding the warm winds high above the waves, they take their rest in tiny sips, moments of sleep caught on the wing, sometimes seconds at a time, half a mind dozing while the wings hold steady, until landfall brings them, at last, a proper, long, deep night. Even the busiest crossing, in other words, is made of countless small permissions to rest. You are gliding on that warm, high wind, in your mind's eye, and every slow circle carries its own small gift of sleep, sip after sip, sea mile after sea mile. To rest here with the gliding sleepers is to know that rest does not always arrive as one great night, and that the small sips count too. Now, the meerkats, who sleep in a heap. In the warm dark of the burrow, the whole family piles gently together, layered like folded laundry, the little ones tucked deepest where the warmth gathers. Everyone pillowed on everyone. One drowsy communal creature with many hearts, all of them slowing together. You are resting at the warm center of that pile, in your mind's eye, weight and warmth arranged kindly all around you, every breath in the burrow settling into the same slow time. To rest here in the family heap is to feel sleep as the meerkats know it, not a private errand, but a warm agreement. Now a small wonder hiding in plain sight, the blink. All day long your eyes close, briefly, thousands upon thousands of times, and each blink is a tiny rest, a fraction of darkness in which the mind takes the smallest possible breath. Added together, your blinks close your eyes for a surprising share of every waking day. You have, in a sense, been practicing for tonight since the moment you woke. You are letting the blinks come slower now, each one a little longer than the last, each small darkness a little more tempting to remain in. To rest here as the blinks lengthen is to watch the day's smallest rests gently merge, at last, into the night's great one, now a soft echo of the dolphin, hidden in ourselves. On the first night in an unfamiliar place, one half of the human brain sleeps a little more lightly than the other, keeping gentle watch the way the dolphin's does, which is why the first night away is often the shallowest. And here is the comfort in it. By the second night, the watchman is satisfied and stands down, and the whole of you is permitted to sleep. Your own mind, in other words, checks the room for you and then relaxes. You are resting somewhere familiar tonight, or somewhere that will be familiar by tomorrow. And either way, the gentle watchman is finishing his rounds, finding everything in order, and turning down the lamp. To rest here while your own quiet guardian stands the first watch is to know that even your vigilance is temporary, and kindly meant, and already easing. Now, the spindles. All night long, as you sleep, your brain sends up small, quick flourishes of activity, gentle bursts that scientists call sleep spindles. And one of their jobs, it seems, is to hold the doors of sleep closed, smoothing over the creak of a floorboard or a distant car, so that you sail on undisturbed. Deep in the night, your own mind is softly humming to itself, partly, it appears, to keep you asleep. You are drifting toward that self-kept peace now, toward the hours when your mind will tend its own doors, humming its small, wordless phrases, letting nothing through but morning. To rest here in the care of your own night music is to be guarded by the gentlest security in the world, composed and performed nightly, just for you. Now, the amber evenings. For the whole of human history, until scarcely a moment ago, every evening was lit the same way, by fire and candle and lamp, in soft shades of amber and gold. And it is exactly that warm, low light that leaves our sleepiness undisturbed, which is why dusk and hearth and candlelight feel the way they do. Our bodies were tuned, over 100,000 years of evenings, to grow sleepy by the colors of fire. You are resting in that old light now, or in its memory, the room glowing low and golden, every warm shadow telling your body the ancient news. The day is over. To rest here in the amber hour is to give your body the one signal it has trusted longest, and to feel it answer, on schedule, with sleep. Now, the bedtime cups. Warm milk with honey, chamomile steeped soft and gold, the little evening drinks of 100 cultures. And the sweetest part of the science is this: their power lies at least as much in the ritual as in the cup. The warming, the steam, the two hands wrapped around, the small ceremony repeated nightly until it becomes a signal. This is how a body is told, gently and in advance, that sleep is near. You are resting with such a cup now, real or remembered, the warmth seeping into your fingers, the steam rising soft, the old signal traveling down through you like dusk. To rest here with the warm evening cup is to speak to your body in the language of ritual, which it has always understood better than words. Now, the lavender. For thousands of years, people have laid lavender among their linens and under their pillows, and the old habit holds up remarkably well, for the scent of it has been found to slow the heart by a gentle fraction and deepen the early hours of sleep. Whole fields of purple in the south of France exist, in the end, in the service of the world's pillows. You are resting with that soft scent drifting somewhere near, real or imagined. The purple, fields folded invisibly into the evening air, doing their quiet work on your pulse. To rest here, inside the old perfume of sleep, is to be soothed by an entire summer landscape, pressed and dried and saved for tonight. Now, the sun-dried bedding. In many countries, the bedding is hung out in the morning sun, and everyone who has ever slept in sun-dried linen knows the result. That clean, warm smell that has no proper name and needs none. It is the smell of the day itself, folded into the sheets, and climbing into it at night is like being tucked in by the afternoon. You are settling into that remembered freshness now, the pillow faintly warm with borrowed sunlight, the whole bed smelling gently of a good day, well aired. To rest here in the sun's own laundry is to be wrapped for the night in the kindest hours of the morning. Now, the shape of sleepers. Left to themselves, most people the world over settle onto one side and curl just slightly. Knees eased up, chin eased down. The same soft crescent in every land and every age. Whole languages of bedding have been built around that one gentle curve. We do not lie down straight like soldiers. We lie down curved like commas. A small pause in the long sentence of the day. You are finding that shape now, or some easy cousin of it, the body folding along its oldest preference, settling into the punctuation of rest. To rest here, in the shape of the comma, is to end the day not with a full stop, but with a soft pause, to be continued in the morning. Now, the doorway of sleep. In the drifting minutes as you fall asleep, the mind passes through a soft borderland, where thoughts loosen into pictures, and pictures into dreams, and it is famously a place of gentle invention. Painters and inventors used to nap in armchairs, holding a key or a spoon above a plate, so that at the very threshold the hand would relax, the key would fall, and they would wake with the borderland's strange treasures still in their grasp. That doorway is just ahead of you now. You are approaching it gently, the edges of thought already softening, the first loose pictures beginning to drift past, like fish in dim water. To rest here at the doorway of sleep is to arrive at one of the mind's most gracious places, and tonight you may simply walk through. Now, as our journey nears its end, we come to the loveliest fact of the night. Night itself is a place, a soft, dark country, half the width of the world, and it is always moving. The line of evening sweeps gently westward around the planet, mile after mile, hour after hour, and sleep follows it like a tide, putting out the lamps of one longitude after another. Bedtime is not a moment. It is a wave, circling the earth forever, and it never once stops gathering sleepers. You are lying directly in its path now. It has already crossed the cities to your east, and hushed them. It is arriving gently, exactly where you are. To rest here as the great wave of night arrives is to be gathered into the softest procession on earth, billions strong, moving always toward morning. And now our journey through the gentle wonders of sleep comes softly to its end. Tonight we have wandered far. We have drifted with half-sleeping dolphins and floated among standing whales, watched the flowers close and the branches lower, learned what the night quietly washes and mends and files within us, counted the shepherd's flock, and met the kind old keepers of the world's dreams. You don't need to hold on to any of it. Let every wonder dissolve now, softly, the way dreams dissolve toward morning. But perhaps, as you lie here, you can keep one small and gentle thought. Sleep is the one country every living thing calls home. The swift in the high dark, the seed in the deep soil, the whale in the blue, the child in the next room, the stranger on the far side of the world. All of them go, each night or each season, to the same soft place you are going now. Whatever else the world disagrees about, it agrees, completely and forever, on rest. And tonight, you are not falling asleep alone. You are joining the largest gathering there is, the nightly assembly of everything that closes its eyes, held every single night since eyes began. You belong to it utterly, by birthright, and your place in it is warm and kept and waiting. Somewhere right now, a dolphin is resting hive its mind beneath the moon. A field of young sunflowers is turning slowly to face the morning. The wave of night is sweeping softly across an ocean, gathering its sleepers. And here, in this moment, you are safe and warm and exactly where you need to be. So let your breathing slow. Let your body grow heavy and soft. Let every last thought dissolve, gently, like a dream at dawn, leaving only warmth behind. If you happen to still be awake, you're always welcome to drift along to the next quiet journey, whenever you're ready. But for now, there is nowhere to go, and nothing to do, but the oldest, kindest thing on earth. Sleep well, traveler. Thank you for wandering the gentle wonders of sleep with me tonight. Good night.